Saxon, which has been one of the main developers in the E-SOH and the OASIS software, will have a presentation on onboarding and some technical issues. I've not put on any on how technically you should go, so it's hopefully it will be. He can answer all your questions later. So. But first, I want to share. What do we see now? What do you see now? It's my email.
We see your emails on the Teams, but we don't see anything.
It's not the same? Yeah, probably not. So. Then I will go there. I will see mine. Yeah. I thought that I had it. There it. This should have been finished. So where is it? If you want to fetch a cup of coffee or something, you can do this now. Just to come back in. I made it earlier today. There. So now you see the. You don't see it here. You see the same thing on the Teams now? Really? Do you see that one? Is it? Okay. Yeah. Then I will go to. I'm not sure if I could do this. Yeah. So I'm just going to say some brief words about the system. So probably most people know about the E-SOH system, and the goal is to share all European surface observations from the last 24 hours in one API, including distribution to WIS2 through MQTT and an EDR API. So what's been talked about here earlier. So I had a brief presentation yesterday regarding the status. So we'll say something more about it. So the timeline is now quite close to the finish. Miko and Håvard, they will probably hear mumbling. So you could go out if you want to talk about. So we are here now. We just had our final sprint of development 2 weeks ago. So now most of the money is used up, and we have a system that works quite well. as I mentioned, we have the system working in, well, DVD is running the system in European Weather Cloud. It's been done that for a year, mainly. And we have now a new version of the system and software that we have are about to implement in EVC. Did you have a question, Peter? No? No, just so the project is finished at New Year, but as I understand, DVD is running the system until the end of 2025. No, 2026. So we have one more year of operational use. Could you verify that, Willie? So DVD will run the E-SOH system until.
That they will run it for 2026.
Yeah.
Formally. Then we are working over the next months to agree who will actually run it from then.
Yeah. So
and there is a favorite candidate.
Yeah.
But I probably can't say.
So it's a bit out of phase with the rest of the Rodeo project and maintaining the different parts, but at least we have one more year to decide.
We will provide the support development for the. I was going to say API, but I should say OASIS software, shouldn't I?
Yeah. So if you talk about the software, it's OASIS, and if you talk about the observations part of it, it's the one from E-SOH that uses the OASIS software. Yeah. Yeah, so this is just some details about that. I showed this yesterday. So this is the portal, which is starting to take form. And Mikko actually made this from IP address to the DNS name yesterday. So now this should work. It's under construction, but it's still some of the documentation and stuff are there. It's the overall link between all the work packages in Rodeo, and for some users, this will be the first view of the whole MeteoGate system. So, while for later use, you will probably go to the Data Explorer or directly to the APIs that you know.
Yesterday I put the Explorer link to the chat as well. So
yeah. So now this link here could link directly to the Explorer. Yeah. Then I could do that out of the meeting. So we have the source code of E-SOH in GitHub. Still under E-SOH, so it's a bit confusing between the OASIS and the E-SOH, but we will move it so that it's clear what's what. We have the user documentation under the API, which you go there and add /docs. You will find the documentation for the API. I guess that Amund will talk more about that later. And the file that we made up yesterday, we took from E-SOH, and this is the metadata file that's published to MeteoGate. And I guess that's been in place since the meeting in Helsinki or something. Yeah. We onboarded E-SOH in February, yeah. That's good. This is also an overview. So me and Anna-Kaisa will probably show the same figure or the schema. So we will talk about this E-SOH part and the open radar data part. But all this describes another view of what Jeremy showed yesterday of the components and the data flow, because the different APIs uses different data flows. So and it's important to emphasize that this is not one giant system. It's divided into smaller components with MeteoGate on top. Look at this schema in the presentation afterwards. So this is the latest development that we have done. I think the most important this time was we had some bug fixes and we had some issues that was raised by parallel programs. So Stuart mentioned the IoT observation system that uses the OASIS software and that had some issues. We had some issues with the height of implementing the height of the station or the sensor. And we actually got to name this 3 weeks ago or something. So OASIS was a result of this sprint. Another thing that was important to fix during this phase was the buffer encoding, so that we could conform to the WIS2 integration on the core data. And Istvan has done this on this sprint, and it's about to be rolled out in the operational phase. So it's not visible for you yet, but now we actually take a snapshot of the latest data and export that as, make it available as one buffer file that could be used and sent out on WIS2 or by systems that actually use buffer and not coverage JSON. So all of this buffer encoding is done on top and outside of the OASIS system, so it uses the API and extracts data and converts it.
Is that using EC codes buffer converter?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Could probably ask Istvan later. So it's yeah.
At least that way you know it's going to be right.
Yeah,
but
but
the one that everybody uses.
I've used my focal point to verify that the content is okay and it looks like the core data. So it's but this has been a very important milestone for the project. So then for all the NMSs that uses E-SOH actually have integration with WIS2 and could turn off the GTS system.
Okay.
Sorry. Now I don't see the screen, so. Why? There. So now to the most important thing of E-SOH, and I guess it's the last thing that I will say. We're now able to onboard JSON coverage JSON data that Armin will talk about. We are able to onboard buffer files from NMSs, so you could actually send the buffer file that you send to GTS today could be just sent to E-SOH. But it would be preferable if you actually add more data to your buffer file. So like I think SMHI has done that for already for WIS2, made a bigger buffer file and sent it as recommended to WIS2. We also have for some countries, well, for all European countries, we extract data from GTS, the buffer files from GTS, and import it into the system. This is a breaking issue, which is when GTS is turned off, this will not work anymore. So, but for now, it's a good way of distributing European data out on the via the API. in the standard race. So we still have this integration from VIS2 to the system. That's not been done yet. But the most important of all, so without data, the system is not working. So for the Rodeo to be a working system, we need data from the MSs. And that's it, I think. Some more slides if you want to look at those later.